tape. Rob, Drizzy Dre, let's get it going. We're going to go into UFC 251 Fight Island. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Hell yeah, dude. What did you think of the card, man?
Oh, man. What a great night, period. That's all I got to say.
Hell of a
fucking
night.
Phenomenal. Man, there was some good prelims, obviously before the main, and man, those got me going, man. Who was it that I shared one of his knockout?
The guy,
light heavyweight.
Yeah, it was the light heavyweight fight. It was Volkan Ozdemir versus I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but his first name is Yuri.
Yeah, he's the one that won. Yeah, Yuri. Yeah. He wow, what a display of striking on that one, dude. Light heavyweights, man, they go out there and bang in that weight class. That's a different type of weight class right there, dude.
Yeah, dude, they're getting nasty. John Jones has his hands full, dude.
He's got his hands full, and that's why he is considered the GOAT, because his defenses of every single top contender that's come his way in that weight class, 205 is unrivaled. But yeah, anyway, back to that fight, man. It was insane, and as soon as I saw that, man, I had to share that on my Instagram because it was fucking crazy. And the main cards, though, man, oh, fucking those you called it on the rose, man. I called it for obviously not for her, and I thought that loss, her first loss to this opponent was gonna be it, man. But you called that one. That was a beautiful performance by Rose.
She's
a thug. She's
Hell
a thug. She was
her
a
eyes
thug, man.
Fucked up though. Did you see that?
Man. Yeah, dude. She battled it out in there, dude. That was it's gonna leave a couple of scars. Not gonna lie. I mean, but she's her face has been pretty fucked up in the past too, man. She's been in so many wars.
That's true. She has been.
She's yeah. What'd you think of that fight, man?
That fight was probably one of my favorite fights of the night, dude, to be completely honest with you. Her head movement and her boxing was so on fucking point, dude. It was ridiculous.
I agree. It was fun watching. And she's always had great striking in the past when she was, fairly new to the UFC. So, I mean, that's just her style, dude. She went in there and really was really focused.
Yeah, definitely. All of her strikes were significant, all 82 of them. So she threw 82 strikes, and every single one of them was significant.
Didn't she get some kind of record? I thought I saw a stat that said that she had the most in that weight class for something, and I thought it had to do with significant strikes. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I shared something like that. I don't remember the exact stat, but it did have something to do with that.
I saw the stat on our own page.
Yep, and I don't even remember what it was. I can go find it actually. Here, let me hook up.
Bring it up.
Our homies, Numbers MMA, I believe is the page. Yeah, Numbers MMA on Instagram. They have all the stats like that. I'm trying to get in some work with those guys. Maybe they can send us some stat shit, but.
Oh, absolutely. Those are good guys to collab with.
Yeah, she's tied for most knockouts in women's strawweight history with 3. She also ranks first in the division's history in knockdowns with per 15 minutes with .41. So that was the record.
She's a beast.
And she also has 4 finishes, which is the most in strawweight history, and she was tied with Jessica Andrade.
You know why she's such a good striker? She's married to Pat Barry.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Dude, if your husband is Pat Barry, I'm sure that he makes you do at least an hour of stand up at home a day just to brush up on shit. You know what I mean?
No fucking doubt, dude. And now he's starting to become her head coach. Trevor Whitman's starting to step back.
Hey, you know what? To be honest, who better than your own husband to be your fucking your coach? I mean, he's got your best interests at heart. Period.
If you're able to keep it separate, I don't see any issue with it.
Shit, it's not even about keeping it separate. It's more of using the marriage as more of a catapult to even be better. You know what I mean? Because it's dangerous. It's not like a job. It's not like business. It is business for Dana White, but it's a job for a fighter, and to go in there and risk your life like that. If my wife knew how to fight and coach and all that, you best believe I'd have her on the fucking corner.
Hell yeah, dude. Speaking of wives, that actually is a great intro to the fucking Paige Van Zandt fight. Did you see it?
Oh, man. Yeah, I did. To Bellator she goes, man.
To Bellator she goes, brother, man. Almost broke her fucking arm again. If she didn't tap to that arm bar, that shit was going to snap.
Man, listen, I haven't watched too many of her fights previously from when she was champion up until this fight this past Saturday. But I mean, she's definitely shown a decline in all of her performances.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that was definitely the cherry on top. So it's definitely one of those things where she's got to make a decision, even if she wants to go to Bellator after that type of performance, dude. I mean, not taking anything away from her, but Bellator's still got some savages in that fucking organization, and they're obviously their fucking prospects coming up, dude. So she'd have her hands full on that one.
That's exactly what Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy were saying. They're saying she can come to Bellator, but she has to come and face some killers anyway, so it's not going to get any easier for her.
Listen, Bellator is where is the future UFC superstars. That's what Bellator is. Yep. I mean, it's not a fucking low organization by any means, but yeah, her performance that night, man. I mean, she was definitely outclassed, and she definitely looks like she's father time is the biggest enemy of any fighter, and she's not old, but I mean, she's been in so many wars. You know what I mean? It takes it out of you.
That's true. Her best fight was right? No, I don't think she has a kid. Not that I know of, at least.
Oh, well, then I guess.
But she absolutely did get outclassed, and that was apparently that was the game plan she was trying to avoid, and she just fell right into that fucking clinch, dude. And she was fucked as soon as she latched onto her, dude. It was terrible.
Yep, I remember it. It was definitely one of those fights that you just kind of expect that to happen that whole time. You're just like,
So what'd you think of Peter Yan and Jose Aldo, man?
Man, Peter Yan made a statement. Definitely made a statement.
How do you feel? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead. No. Keep going.
I was going to ask how you felt about the stoppage.
I mean, I don't think it was. It could. I guess it was premature in my opinion. I mean, it could have continued. You never want a stoppage unless the guy was really in trouble. And what'd you think? I mean, what'd you think of Aldo's performance to that point?
I thought Aldo won the first round. Aldo did. No, not the first round. Yan won the first round because it was almost stopped because of that fucking body shot to the solar plexus. Do you remember? And then Jose came back in the second, so I thought he was looking okay. And then once Yan started taking over in the third, it was all downhill from there. It looked like it could have been stopped a little, I guess, earlier. I don't know, because at one point, Yan was just fucking on top of him, bro, and he was flattened out. He was fucking shelled up. Like,
I guess that's the Aldo fan in me, wanting him to at least have a little more time in there. But yeah, he was getting picked apart in those 2 rounds.
I also agree with you, though. I don't feel like you should have. I agree that, I think it was a good stoppage, but I also see your point because you do want to be able to fight it out just because you never fucking know. He could have gotten up. He could have kept going. But
he could have. But at the end of the day, Peter Yan's a younger, more fresh guy, and he really broke down Aldo. I mean, round 1 and especially 3. Like you said, number 2, you saw a little bit of stabilization in Aldo's game, and he was coming back. But I mean, that body shot to the solar plexus in the first round to end off a round like that'll take it out of any guy, young or old. So I mean, Aldo was fighting through that already. So I agree. I mean, you could have seen a worse result by a savage knockout and just Aldo being out completely. But the stoppage was just one of those things where you're just, like you said, Aldo's the type where you never know. You know what I mean? You never know just because of his caliber. But Peter Yan definitely showed a performance. Like I said in the beginning, he made a statement. He definitely made a statement. And I mean, you think he deserves that champion spot since obviously he's the new crown champion?
With almost 300 strikes thrown at Aldo.
Yeah.
And a total domination, I think he deserves the belt. Yeah, do I think he should? Honestly, it should have been Aljamain Sterling in there instead, but we get that fight next, so I'll take it.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, you've been talking about him for a while too, so I can only imagine the type of performance that'll be. That's
It'll
truly top versus top.
it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, man, you give UFC credit for really getting the right guys to the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
man.
it's one of those things where if you don't follow the sport as thoroughly and watch every single prelim and all that, some of these champions that they bring up, a lot of these casual fans will be like, oh, who the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like he just became champion all of a sudden. But UFC definitely develops their guys. I mean, Dana and his other matchmakers. I mean, they know how to fucking let a guy fucking get on a streak and really prime him to be that champion. And I mean, like that stat that was crazy, I think you put it up, was that all the champions in the UFC have such a small loss margin. Like they have barely any losses, and they're all fucking elite. You know, the most elite lineup of champions, and UFC's definitely worked on that for sure. I mean, they've always had the best at the top, but it's crazy to see the guys right now. And Peter Yan definitely showcased that. He's part of that club for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with you for sure. How do you feel? How do I put this? Holloway and Volkanovski. Who do you think won? Do you think it was?
No, I thought Holloway won.
I thought so too.
I thought Holloway won. Wasn't it the second round that was really the most debatable part of the fight? It was the second round, I believe, right?
I heard it was the third, but now they're saying it was the fifth because two judges on the scorecards gave it to Holloway and one to Volkanovski or whatever.
So it was the third. Some shit. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. It's the third, but I do see it. I do see it that way. I definitely saw Holloway come out with the win. I mean, he was more focused, more productive in that fight. He was definitely more productive, and the leg kick issue from the last fight obviously wasn't there. So I mean, he definitely worked on. I mean, it's good that Holloway was able to actually hustle that victory, but unfortunately, the judges saw it the other way. I mean, that's the thing about MMA, man. I mean, you know, the takedown defense to just getting takedowns and staying on top of a guy, or just even an attempt or anything like that, can win you points even if you're not winning a fight. You know what I mean? The pressure. And no, I didn't think Volkanovski should have been the victor. And it's crazy how much drama came from that alone, man. I saw so many fucking tweets and shit on Instagram about that. I know a couple of fighters said some choice words about that victory too. So it was definitely a disappointing one to watch. And remember I told you, but my heart was with Holloway leading up to the fight, man. So you definitely know my heart was broken on that decision.
Yeah, I was fucking heartbroken on that shit too. I really thought he pulled it out, man. Yeah, I really thought he won that fight because, truthfully, he came out in the first two rounds, just like you said about the leg kicks. He acted like they weren't an issue. He just kept pressing forward. His boxing was there. I don't understand how they gave that fight to Volkanovski at all.
No, I don't understand either. And I'm trying to remember a fight in a fight that I've watched in the UFC, obviously, that kind of had a similar outcome with a decision. But it's one of those things where, man, that was a really, really bad decision. That's like almost boxing level bad decision. You know what I mean?
I totally agree, dude. It was bad.
I know it's not the first, but I'm trying to remember what bout to compare that to. But honestly, I can't come to mind because that was a terrible result, dude. Completely terrible result. But fuck, we'll see where Holloway goes from this because, fortunately, Dana obviously said his words about it. He obviously expressed his disdain for the decision, but let's see where that takes him in the matchmaker's eyes, because Holloway definitely deserves another run at that. He deserves a run back, a third. You know what I mean?
For sure. They did the same thing for Aldo. Aldo lost to Marlon Moraes, and they thought he won the fight, and they still gave him the title shot. So Holloway could absolutely get another one.
I wouldn't doubt it, especially with all the drama and uproar that Volkanovski's getting from other fighters. You know Volkanovski's going to want to get back in there.
Yeah.
So it's a rematch that's bound to happen.
Everything he
bad, dude. I
said, he
keep
didn't do.
interrupting you, bro.
No, dude, I'm just agreeing with you. You're good.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I was about to say I thought that was the lag on my fucking internet, but I paid a lot of fucking money for this fucking landline internet up on the mountain, man. It better not be lagging.
I don't think so. I better not fucking be lagging either. My brother's not home. No one's on the internet.
Yeah, it's
My
actually a
brother's
lot
not
better than
gaming.
it was before. Yeah,
Cool.
it's way crispier than before. It's that HD shit now.
Yep. All right.
Man. All right, so let's get to the most dramatic bout of the night, man. Especially for my man Robbie here. This dude's the internet fucking true internet fighter, man. Fucking wants all the smoke. I love it.
Bro, I don't want to be a keyboard warrior.
And I agree with every fucking single thing you said. And I'm an honest guy. And the Masvidal, well, let's be respectful. The Usman versus Masvidal fight, the victory for Usman, shows that he's the best in his fucking weight class, dude. He deserves to be the champion. And let's get to what you were fucking arguing about, because like I said before we start, I completely agree with Robbie. So let's hit the fucking let's hit the target with this one. So fucking a lot of internet warriors talking about that result.
All right, first things first. If you thought that fucking fight was boring, you wanted Masvidal to win. Flat out.
That's true. That is fucking true. That is true.
Usman played the game he's been playing since he won the Ultimate Fighter against every single fucking ATT welterweight.
Yeah.
So he's already beaten every single one of them. Exactly. If you expected that fight to be like a Ben Askren fight, what the fuck are you thinking? I mean,
that has to be the craziest season of fucking Ultimate Fighter, man.
I can't be that rude.
Going at it.
But
yeah. No,
it was wild.
Keep going.
I was like, I can't be rude. I can't say what the fuck are you guys thinking, but
yeah.
You kind of have to expect a different outcome.
Yeah, of course. And keep going.
No. Go ahead.
Well, the point that you fucking kept bringing up, which it's like if you honestly disagree with this point, you're a complete dumbass. And it's like, oh, well, let me just go in there from Usman's perspective, what a lot of these fans are thinking. And I've been guilty of being a fan like that in MMA myself. But it's like, what'd you expect Usman to do? Go in there and bang with a guy that knows how to bang and fucking loves the stand-up game?
Exactly.
I mean, a guy that fucking throws flying fucking knees and knows the tie clinch, knows that type of shit on an expert level. Fuck no. Usman, like you said, it would have been Usman playing Masvidal's game. And why would you do that? I mean, it'd be like purposely losing. So that's what I agree with the most. I was definitely, and I'll be honest, I was rooting for Masvidal because I love stand-up. You know what I mean? I'm a stand-up guy, and I'm a professional boxer, but at the same time, I love watching that Muay Thai MMA mix-ups, stand-up game. And it's just one of those things where you got to accept it. This is MMA, and Usman did what he was trained and permitted to fucking do in an octagon. Like he said, 100%. If I'm going to wrestle, if I need to fucking wrestle, I'm going to fucking wrestle. That's what he says. And that's why you train different combats, is because if you're going against a guy who's fucking amazing in his boxing, but your wrestling is fucking out of this world, you can take him down and, eventually try and ground and pound him, which it can fucking vary. It's not like, that happens every time, but if that's the case, then you fucking do it. So, I thought it was a good MMA fight. It was a fucking MMA bout, and they put their fucking necks out on the line, and they really, it was a fight. It was a fucking fight. Like, what did people expect? That Usman was gonna fucking start on that expert level Muay Thai with Masvidal, start exchanging fucking flying knees, start throwing spinning heel kicks, like. Or just box with Masvidal. I get it. People just wanted to see, a nice little toe-to-toe stand-up boxing warfare. But, Masvidal, obviously, that's the key to beating him.
Absolutely.
He just laid down the blueprint to beat a prime Masvidal. And listen, he's always gonna, and it's true. He's always gonna have the 6-day notice thing as the catalyst.
Yeah. But just to go off that, he did not bring that up at all. He made zero excuses in the press conference. He showed up to the fucking press conference in the first place. So even though I wasn't rooting for him, and before this fight I didn't have very much respect for him, just because of the trash talk in the beginning. Like I don't like selling fights like that, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But he's street. That's how he does it. You know what I mean?
And I understand that now.
Yeah, yeah.
But after, like, just the way that he's handled it and the way that he spoke about it in the end, I do have respect for him, and now I do like him as a fighter.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely like.
And he fucked up Nate Diaz, and that was my main issue with him.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hey, listen, my coach is gonna try and set that sparring up, by the way.
That's gonna be sick.
And oh man, I would love to get in there with Diaz because he's a great boxer. He's an amazing, like, that man loves, like, his routine training, from what I've heard, is that he boxes routinely, like, weekly with professional boxers. Like, he'll get in there and do rounds and just all stand up, and it's crazy, man. So he's definitely, I definitely respect him. But that win over Diaz was gonna happen, man. You have a fresh, younger striker in Masvidal, so you can't be mad at him about that, my man. He's a thug. He's a thug.
But the doctor stoppage, though, bro, like, you had to fuck the man's eye up to get him out of there.
That's a good point. Hey, listen. At
any
cost.
But exactly.
At any cost.
Exactly.
But congrats to Usman. Seriously, I thought, of course, like I said, I was honest, and I was like, man, I was disappointed that Masvidal didn't win.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's all it goes to, because I can't just say, like, oh, well, I agree. Like, what is Usman gonna do for the sake of excitement, and entertainment? And it's not one of those things where, like you said, it's exactly where you wanted. If you wanted Masvidal to win, that's how you would have saw it. Period. Mm-hmm. That's how you would have thought. So it is what it is. I mean, I know you were going back and forth, man. You had some funny ass shit that I read, man. Oh,
damn, bro. I really gotta stop doing that.
Yeah, but these keyboard warriors, man, it's like they don't know common sense. And then
they don't.
They had the nerve to call you a casual. First off, you were 5 for 5 that night. Second, how is it, like, if you're rooting, like, if you're thinking about heart and, like, who's gonna win in your heart type of thing, then you're casual. If you're thinking about statistics and fucking actual facts, then you're definitely not a casual. Let's be honest.
Hey, I'll take being a casual for enjoying a technical fight like that, bro. Like, just because it wasn't a quick finish doesn't mean the fight was shit. I mean, I agree.
Oh, man.
The one point I do agree with is the toe stomping or the foot stomps.
Yeah,
there could have been a little less of that, but other than that, it was a good fight.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Since John Jones. I think I texted you that.
Yep. Yeah, John Jones was a savage when it came to getting into that clinch scenario against the cage, putting his man against the cage, and those fucking foot stomps, man, with the heel. Dude, I mean, those will fucking hurt anybody.
Fuck yeah.
And not only that, but it's like, you don't expect your foot to get hurt. So the guy, you know what I mean? If my foot got stomped on at least once in a fight, you better believe my power and my balance is gonna go down. A foot stomp like that, and those it was the term toe stomps. Was that what they're using?
I think so. Toe or foot, one of the two.
Yeah, well, either way, he's using. I mean, he was using his heel, right?
Yep.
Like that's a classic, like you said, John Jones move. And yeah, man. I mean, listen, it's one of those things where MMA has this whole spectrum of strikes that are legal and all that, but you don't see enough of it. And I thought Usman pulled out all strings to win the fight, man. That's a wrestling fighter. That's a true wrestling fighter. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Dirty boxing, and then that's like dirty kickboxing. You know what I mean? So that's, to me, I didn't think it was unruly by any means. I thought it was interesting watching that. Like I said, I haven't seen that shit fucking forever.
I thought it was a good scrap, bro. I was literally screaming at the TV. I'm like, get his fucking ass.
Yeah, for real. No, it was fun, man. It was a good night. And dude, UFC's got 2 more cards coming up.
Yeah, they have one on Wednesday. Speaking of which, I'm interviewing Brock Weaver on Wednesday too.
Bro, hey, listen. If you said you want to do it live, right?
Yeah,
For
unless you
all,
can hop on it. I mean,
I can hop on it.
are
I
you
can hop
free?
on it live. Yeah, I can hop on it live, bro.
All
I
right,
mean,
or
I'll be done with sparring. You said somewhere around noon.
yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I'll fucking
All right, then we'll just get on Skype and do it then.
yeah, fuck. We'll do some Skype then. Fuck it.
Cool.
As long as you feel comfortable with it. Brock Weaver. So tell me more about him. He's
Dana
the
White
fight.
Contender Series fighter.
Yes.
Now he just recently moved his camp down to AT&T.
Okay. Yeah.
He was training in Alabama before that, and training down there
Nice.
is probably not very good, sadly.
So he just entered with ATT in their camps.
Yeah, he's been there for about a month, so I'm gonna get
Nice.
on and ask him some questions about that, dude.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that'll
what
be
I'm
a
really
great
most
interview.
excited. Yeah, dude, I'm stoked for that.
That'll be a good one. I'm definitely stoked for that one. So what's his record right now?
Let me pull him up real quick. Take me like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I know he's 1-1 in the UFC, but total I don't know. Give me a sec.
Okay.
Because he just started fighting. He has one. His win is a fucking illegal strike, so that kind of sucks.
Okay.
And then he most recently got tapped out by Roosevelt Roberts on the Vegas 1 card.
Okay. All right. Well, shit. It's gonna be a good interview though, man. Either way, fucking.
But he's
I'm an active
14-5
fighter.
total.
Oh yeah, he's a true top MMA fighter to say the least. I mean, he's
fought
started in
all
the
over,
UFC.
dude.
Yeah,
Yep.
he just started in the UFC, so he's got a fucking big future ahead of him right now. Period.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really fucking awesome interview
Yeah,
for sure.
awesome. Yeah. For what weight class, by the way? I forgot if did you mention that?
Lightweight, 155.
Lightweight. Ooh, my favorite weight class. My favorite weight class right there.
But it's
55
interesting
is
because he did his Contender Series fight at 170, so they made him move down.
good. Fuck good. Dude, there's some giants in the UFC right now in their weight classes. 170's got big boys. Big boys. But 155 is perfect. That's a good weight class. That's a
Yeah, I
good
think
weight
it's a
class
good fit
right
for
there.
him too.
Yeah, absolutely. And dude, if you're the champion in that weight class, I mean, there's nothing you take away from being at that spot because you faced some real athletes. That weight class is so fucking packed. And I mean, you got power in those lightweights. You got that super fucking quick speed with that welterweight power, dude. Some of these guys are almost as big as the welterweights.
Yeah, they really are, dude. That's why it was
Yeah.
so easy for Masvidal to go up to 170 because
Yep.
he was fighting at 155 for a while too.
Yep. Exactly.
But you wanted to talk about? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, dude.
No. Go ahead.
You wanted to bring up? I'm trying to find what we were talking about earlier. You wanted to bring up a boxer, I think, right?
Oh yeah. So, oh man, I think I sent you something. It was all circulating all over. So for all the boxing fans out there watching this, so you guys all know of Gervonta. You know about Gervonta?
I don't.
Because Gervonta Davis, nicknamed the Tank. He's one of the opponents potentially to be matched with Ryan Garcia because they're both champions in that 135 weight class.
Oh
So,
shit, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, Gervonta's a knockout artist, man. I think he's 23-0 with 22 knockouts.
Oh damn. Okay.
Yeah, he's a Floyd Mayweather protege, bro. You need to do more research on your boxing, man, because
For sure.
that lightweight division, especially since your favorite's fucking Ryan Garcia, dude, that weight class is the most competitive weight class in boxing today. And Gervonta's a big knockout artist. He's a southpaw, so he stands right hand forward.
That's how I stand, bro.
Yeah, right. Fucking, is your strong hand your right or your left?
I can go both. It's funny because I write with my right hand, but I do sports and everything else with my left.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of the times, like right-handers like to fight left-handed because they like to have their strong hand in the front. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things. But
it's a stronger jab, bro.
Exactly. If you know how to use it, if you know how to fucking stay balanced in that way, yeah, absolutely. I tried, but fucking I got to stick to right-handed orthodox because I lean too much when I got that right foot forward. But anyway, so Gervonta, dude, he's like if you knew who he really was, I mean, he's one of the biggest names in boxing, but he's just the best considered, the knockout artist at 135. Anyway, he had a sparring session. It was floating all over the internet, and it was at the gym that I was at in LA. It was Buddy McGirt's gym. Obviously, it's a private gym, so it's just like all the club's sparring sessions. And supposedly, Gervonta went over there to train with one of his other training partners, and he got sparring from a guy named Ivan Redkach, which is this Ukrainian boxer at 140. He's like one of the top 10 ranked fighters in the world for his weight class, and he got into a sparring session with Gervonta, and I think it was the fourth round that Gervonta's manager recorded, and he probably hit him with a 10-punch combo that literally, obviously they were full headgear up and everything, but it was a lightning fast 10-punch combo or something around that, and then almost knocked out Redkach. Like he was like stumbling in the ring, and then they kept scrapping. Obviously, Redkach wasn't throwing too many punches, but that tape floated around. If you can find it, all you got to do is just fucking hashtag that shit. But if you find his sparring session, so pretty much it was like one of those things where it was getting blasted all over social media. Like even like other brands like Winning Boxing and like other notable websites or like notable companies in boxing were reposting that video saying like, oh, amazing sparring from Gervonta, amazing showcase of skill. And then also like other people saying like, if you're not ready to get in the ring or spar and be in for a battle or be killed, then you shouldn't be in there. And they're like praising Gervonta, which is true. Like he fucking was amazing in that sparring session. But the other fighter, Redkach, the one that got beat up in the sparring session, started blasting social media saying like, hey, it was only a 4-round sparring session, and that was when he like got heated in the 4th round. He's like, but I wanted to spar 6, and he left after 4. Like it's a lot of drama about that, right? So I sent you that first post that Redkach did, and he had some choice words about Gervonta, this and that. Like Redkach, he's not like a world champion. He's definitely an elite, but he's never won a belt, and he's had a couple of losses. So it's just one of those things where dude's got some balls right now, and it's some drama. And I know a lot of people know about that shit in the world of boxing, and you need to see the sparring tapes so then we can talk about that some more, dude.
All right, I'll check them out.
You have to, yeah, you have to, man, because man, you need to get into striking, dude. You need to start watching more striking, man. You have to. But fun fact, Coach Marcus Reeves, my new head coach for my team, he said something funny in the gym today. He was like, we're obviously going through my training session. I think we were like 10 rounds in, and we're halfway through, and someone said something about the fights in the weekend, and he's like honestly, he's like, I'm into striking. He's like, it made me laugh. He was like, what did he say? Oh yeah, he said I'm an MMA coach. He's like, but I fucking hate watching when MMA gets like that. He's like, I prefer the striking, and I started laughing so hard, dude. I was cracking up, but it was just obviously an inside joke at the gym.
No, I see both sides, bro. Like, I understand why people would expect a more entertaining fight, but at the same time, it's Masvidal's job to stop Usman from stopping him.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Masvidal, if he's a true, I still think he's championship level. I mean, he's got a BMF belt, so in my eyes, he's a champ. But if he's a true champ and gonna get that world title, one day, he would take this loss and take his striking ability and try and mold that to some good wrestling or some better ground game, because all the greatest champions in the world, they knew or were good at one discipline, and they knew that was their bread and butter. But as they reached the top and faced harder opponents, they worked on other parts of their game. Like I was talking with my friend Jake, and he said this. My friend Jake was like, wrestlers make the best MMA fighters. That's his quote and his opinion, and he believes that to be true. But I told him this. I said, in my opinion, it's better to be a better striker naturally and be more skilled in striking first off, and then learn wrestling and then learn jiu-jitsu after.
Right.
And it's not saying that wrestling and jiu-jitsu is easier to learn at a professional level than it is like kickboxing, Muay Thai, or boxing. It's just when you're a better, more skilled, experienced striker, that's where everything starts, you know. And if Masvidal can actually take his amazing stand-up game and actually work on his wrestling and work on his foundation on the ground, then he can definitely be a champion, you know. But if he can get out wrestled by Usman, then he's definitely not worthy of the belt yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the takedown defense is there, but I agree with you on the offensive ground game for sure. He stuffed over half of Usman's takedowns attempts. He only got 5 out of 16 takedowns, dude. Yeah. So that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean he's quick on his feet. He's showcased that in his other fights. You know what I mean? He's always had decent takedown defense. But a guy like Usman, obviously he didn't have a huge percentage of takedowns. Obviously successful, but still, man, you're going against a strong wrestler that knows how to fucking be in those close quarters, be in those really tricky situations. You know?
Yeah, you could tell Masvidal wasn't used to that at all. He's used to being able to keep his range and his distance and being able to tag you up. And Usman was absolutely able to take that advantage away from him.
Yeah, and that was Usman's game plan. And you know what? Even though he obviously had to take a short notice to fight a different style of fighter, Usman's game was there either way. You can't take it away from him that he was not prepared. He was more than 100% prepared for anybody.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's how you're going to do it. And Usman, good for him too, man. If he can learn, not learn, but he's going to get better in the game. I mean, he's at the top level. He's at a better team. They're obviously going to build him every part of his skill, his knowledge of different skills. He's going to come back better every fight you see him. It's just this one obviously was more emphasis on his wrestling and that close quarters action because, you know, everyone wanted to see Masvidal bang.
Yep. I even wanted to see Masvidal bang. I wanted to see Usman bang with him, but at the same time, if he did and he lost the belt, the first thing we would have said is, why didn't Usman wrestle? So
exactly.
Either way, you're going to critique it and you're going to be upset one way or the other.
So. Exactly. But yeah, man, fucking So that was topic of Ivan Retcatch and Gervonta Davis. So if people watching this, we got on a whole tangent, but we brought that up. If you know who Gervonta is, he went to Buddy McGirt's gym to spar, and they brought in Ivan Retcatch, and it became this huge sparring session where he pretty much pieced up a guy to where he was stumbling in the ring, and then now Ivan's like pretty much challenging him. Like it's a crazy beef because of the videos and like all of that shit that was floating from this, and like the rule is always like what happens in the gym stays in the gym. Unfortunately, a lot of guys in the game, they say one thing, like, and I mean fighters, they say one thing to your face, their managers say one thing to your face, and then they totally do something else. And what was claimed was that there was no videotaping allowed, and apparently someone from Gervonta's side did the recording and put that shit out there. So this is one of those things, man. To all young fighters, boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing, or MMA, if you start sparring guys and you go in there with the mindset of, doesn't matter if you're skilled, highly trained, or a newbie, or you're just getting into the team, but if you're an amateur fighter or a pro on that level, whatever the case may be, you walk into a gym, even if it's your gym that you've been training out with your coach, best be prepared every time you spar to be ready for war, because especially if you're going against guys that are better than you, more skilled, have better records, it's just a switch for them. So even if it's sparring, you know, there's high danger, and you don't want to get embarrassed because you don't know who's videotaping. And these days, there's no common decency for that. So someone will always be recording, even if one side says no. You know what I mean?
And that's why sparring's more dangerous than the actual fucking fight these days.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. And especially in boxing, because guys like to showboat, guys like to fucking go in there and bang. And it's one of those things where people don't understand. MMA is different. When MMA training, it's so varied. Boxing, you spar 2-3 days a week, and you're using 16-ounce gloves, you're using headgear, and even though you're not getting knocked the fuck out because you're not, having straight fists bang on you, you got more cushion. It still rattles your brain, and you can take more punches when you spar, and so that means your brain's rattling even more. And then you might not be fucking down or knocked out when you're there, but when you go home and then you fucking feel like the world's spinning around you and you fucking feel dizzy and tired, then like, oh shit, I could fucking die from this. So it's one of those things, man. You got to go every sparring session, man, to all the young fighters out there. Every sparring session is a fight. Treat it as such. You're still working, you're still developing, you're still practicing, but go in there with the mentality like it's still a fight. I'm still fighting. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Especially MMA fighters, man. I went there with some MMA fighters that would do boxing sparring to get their stand up better, and some of these guys are killers, and some of them start to back off when the action gets heavy, and obviously you're not comfortable in that position. But even for MMA guys that are sparring stand up that aren't that good at stand up, make sure that you fucking know it's a chess match. Don't go in there head first, to any sparring, because that's the worst way to fucking end your career short. You feel me? Worst way to end your career short is to get banged up during sparring. So it's just totally one of those things, man. Yeah, dude. And though that tape really emphasized like him getting banged the fuck up, Ivan Redkach, that is, because Gervonta was laying it on him. But his claim was that it was practice, and then he picked up in the fourth round. Gervonta picked up in the fourth round and really started throwing some big shots, like some definite knockout punches if you were wearing 10-ounce gloves with no headgear. And Ivan was claiming like, oh, it was practice, but you picked up in the fourth and then you left right away. He's like, I was down for 2 more. That's the big claim. So if anyone wants to read into it, just read into it. But do I agree with Redkach's claim? Yes, I do. I know that he obviously left after 4, and Redkach is always down for rounds. I've met that guy in person, and he's a tough, seasoned dude. But Gervonta's showcase on that was fine too. I mean, Ivan should have fucking realized that he was picking it up. It's gonna happen. The guy's not gonna be nice to you during sparring, man. So it's on you to pick it up sooner. Especially if the guy's a world champion. I know that there's respect there, because I know that a lot of guys that spar world champions, like, it was always a big thing with George St. Pierre in his camp, because guys would be too tentative and too soft in the ring because it's George. You know what I mean? They never want to beat him up. But I promise you this: if he's a champion and he's hungry and he's willing to beat you up, you're just another body to him. So I'd rather not be a body to someone else's fucking practice. You feel me?
I feel you. Speaking of GSP, that's who Usman wants to fight next, since they both have 12-0 UFC records, bro.
Oh,
how do you feel about that?
See, listen, I can talk on that for hours, but George St. Pierre right now, I don't think that he would be at the level that Usman is at, no matter how long the training camp is. I don't think that'll happen. I think that if that was ever to happen, and let's say George had a big camp for this, a full like 12 to 16 week camp, let's say, and had everything at his disposal. It's just his age, the way his lifestyle is now. Like, he hasn't, like, I know he trains and he does shit like that on the regular with his coaches, even if he travels, but George isn't at training camp status for a while. And when you're a fresh training camp monster like Usman, where he's training up in Colorado now, I mean, he's coming off, back-to-back camps, like, he's active.
Yep.
And an active guy at Usman's age too, and his level of wrestling too, with his cardio, his fucking conditioning. I mean, it'd be a nightmare for George. It'd be a nightmare you can give George St. Pierre 6 months to train, and you're gonna see a George, try and stand up with him and do this and do that, but then you're ultimately gonna see Usman put the pressure on him, and ultimately try and ragdoll him, man. As strong as a wrestler St. Pierre is, it might come down to that because he knows that St. Pierre is a better striker. St. Pierre has always been a good striker, but can his wrestling hold up and can his conditioning hold up? And I don't see that happening. I think that George shouldn't come back. I think George should retire where he was at because he's going to go down as top 5 GOAT.
And I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think he'll come back out of retirement to fight Usman at all.
So that's what George was completely against when he used to talk on Rogan's show. He's like, I'm not going to fucking be a guy that you're going to fucking feed to a lion. Like, I'm not going to be that guy. Like, he's like, I was the best at my prime, and I won with another belt, and I'm good. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
George is smart. He's not going to take that for any amount of money.
He's got nothing to prove, dude.
He's got nothing to prove. He's got nothing to prove, dude. And George knows it. And George respects all the new guys these days. He knows his weight class. That 170 weight class is volatile, man.
Dude, the gang of killers.
Killers, man. Big guys. Like I said, like these guys, they're pretty big, man. I mean, back when George was fighting, he was considered the bigger guy, but now he'd be outsized by so many of these welterweights, man.
Unfortunately so, man.
Yeah, it's insane. So there's no way. What do you think of that? I mean, I know that you feel the same way about George as I do. I mean,
for sure.
You feel he's the top 5 GOAT. But what do you think about that fight if that was ever to happen?
Yeah, I pretty much see it going the same way Masvidal went.
Yeah.
I don't see any different. I don't see the outcome coming out any different. As like you said, he could have a 16-week camp and it still wouldn't get him anywhere, unfortunately. I love GSP to death, but I would not want to see that fight.
I think it would be a slightly more competitive bout in the first half than the Masvidal fight. I think that George has a little more in his toolbox than Masvidal does.
Definitely has better cardio.
Yeah, even in the striking department, George is one of the best strikers in the history of MMA.
No doubt.
One of the best strikers in all of MMA, period. But no, it would be a more competitive fight, but I just see it that Usman would ultimately get a decision. He would get 3 rounds to 2 type of situation. You know what I mean? Something basic, but something where he's going to come out with the win.
Yep. Did you see Michael Bisping and fucking Dan Henderson talking shit to each other on Twitter?
Man, I've been seeing those tweets floating around on Instagram. Fuck, man. I like Bisping because Bisping's a sharp dude. I mean, he's a prick to most people, and most people think he's disrespectful, which I totally get. I mean, a lot of the shit he says can be out of line, but he's a pretty witty dude, and I like his humor at times. And I've always been a fan of him when he was in the fucking commentating arena. I've never a fan of his when he was a fighter because he was a total douche. But
him fighting GSP was.
Man, that was fun. That was fun to watch. Was it fun to watch Dan Henderson knock him the fuck out that first time? Was it satisfying? Absolutely. It was one of the most satisfying victories in that octagon, man. But I love how Bisping always goes back to the steroid talk.
Yep.
I love it.
Because he's never fucking cheated, bro.
And I praise him for that because he used to be a kickboxing champion too. I know that he was in the stand-up game like back in like Thai, like he was doing Muay Thai, dude. Like he was and he's a true warrior. Like you got to give him that.
Perillo is his coach still.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, that he's a loyal fighter. I mean, the fact of the matter is that's what a true warrior is. So if you're loyal, you're definitely going to be loyal to yourself and never take steroids. I mean, that's how GSP was too. GSP was the same way. He was a loyal fighter and loyal to his camp. So that he'd be loyal to himself. If you are a guy that obviously is just a name and just, you don't have the substance like those guys do with their history and who they are, then it's easy to take roids. But Bisping's definitely one of those guys where he has history as a fighter before the octagon. And he's definitely never going to put anything like that into his body. And I agree with him at times calling these guys out because most of these guys that he does call out have juice. I mean, those are facts. I brought that up because I think it's funny, and I think it's funny because it's true. I always love the truth, man, and the truth always gives me more entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love the truth as well, man. It's funny.
You got to expose it, man. I know you laughed at me for saying it. It's like, just legalize that fucking whole fucking roid thing, dude. Because it's like, it doesn't stop these guys. The guys who take it, it doesn't stop them now that they're illegal. Like, you're totally right. Been on it. Yeah, they've all been on it since Dan Henderson and all those big time wrestlers got onto the fucking scene. I mean, it's part of the game, man. And you got to praise the guys who don't roid up. But you know what? That shows, because listen, if all is said and done, Bisping was still middleweight champion up until, GSP beat him. Absolutely. But, like, at least he captured the belt and was able to get it at his age.
Yeah, he got it on short notice.
Yeah, with short notice, dude, against, was it Rockhold?
It was Rockhold, right? Yep.
Yeah, against a prime Rockhold, where Rockhold was still, a definite elite in that weight class. So, I mean, Bisping definitely was a great champion in my eyes, even though he didn't defend the belt a shit ton of times. I mean, he only had it. But, you got to also see that he was able to attain that at an old age. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these guys that roid up or fucking been in the game juicing, I mean, their careers are such roller coasters. You know what I'm saying? Like, it all depends on their health. And these guys deteriorate faster, man. The ones, and you notice who they are. I mean, a lot of them become punch drunk too.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, Bisping's story is more about how he got to the title instead of how long he held it for, which I kind of like better.
Yeah, absolutely. I praise that completely, and I respect that.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's why I always give credit for GSP winning that fight, because I thought that the belt was with the right guy, and GSP won the belt off the man. You know what I'm saying? So, like, GSP absolutely is definitely top 5 GOAT. And that's just me bringing that up. I repeated it many times, but he definitely is. Top 2, in my opinion, top 2 GOATs, Sean Jones and GSP.
Those are my top 2 too, bro.
Top 2. That's top 2. Connor can fight for 3 with somebody else, a.k.a. Silva. You feel me? Yeah, feel me? And number 5 can definitely be a long debate. Number 5 could be a real long debate.
It really could be, dude.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking people you could put at number 5.
Oh, man. That's a tough argument that people need to fucking get in on that.
Fucking shit. Who would I even put? DC. You could put Stipe. You could put Holloway. You could put Aldo. You could put fucking
Chael
Sonnen. You could put Lesnar. You could put fucking Lesnar, dude.
Lesnar, man.
I always thought that was a joke. I'm not gonna lie. Him in the UFC was hilarious to me.
It's funny because I forget what grade we were. I think we were in high school, 10th grade, I believe, because we were living in Hawaii, and I was trying to find out about more UFC bouts so I can fucking watch. And I was good friends with Frank Mir's stepson. We used to train together when we were kids. He obviously used to train with his dad too. And I met Frank Mir, obviously hung out at his house plenty of times.
That's cool.
So and this was when Frank was still the champion. When we were in the 6th grade, I think. But anyway, so long story short, I was looking on the UFC and I like the website, and I saw Frank Mir's name for like a fight cover for an upcoming fight, and it said Frank Mir versus Brock Lesnar, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Huh? We were in the 10th grade. I was like rubbing my eyes. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Seriously, so bro. I was just as confused.
Right? I was doing my fucking research, and I was like, holy shit, Brock Lesnar is becoming a legitimate professional fighter. Man, but was I excited for that one? Hell yeah, and I saw it go down that way. And I already knew who Frank Mir was, so I knew that he was the ground guy, man. He was the fucking heavyweight jiu-jitsu king, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I knew that it was going to go down on the ground, and when I saw Frank get tagged up, man, I was like, oh, holy shit, like this is crazy. And then when he got that, it was a leg lock on Brock. And I thought that was such a bullshit win, though. I mean, like, I wasn't expecting anything else from Frank Mir. I knew he would put on one of the.
But in regards to that fucking fight, man, I thought I was rooting for Brock Lesnar. As soon as I saw him there, I was fucking shit. I was hold on, where's my speaker at? Give me a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was super disappointed that Brock lost that one, and then went on a fucking complete destruction of the heavyweight class after that.
He really did, dude. I was really surprised. I did not expect him to get past Frank Mir or even go on that tear.
Bro.
And I'm pretty sure it stopped at DC, right?
Fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was winning that fight.
But yeah, Brock
Did DC beat him?
Lesnar could definitely go down as one of the GOATs.
He really fucking could, because I don't know who the fuck beat him for the title. Do you?
Cain Velasquez.
Oh, shit, really?
Wait, was it Cain? Was it Cain Velasquez? Yeah, I think it was Cain Velasquez. Or no, it wasn't Cain Velasquez. It was Junior Dos Santos? Fuck, we got to Google that.
Yeah, look it up right now. Lesnar MMA record. Yeah, because I don't know who took the belt from him. His last fight was Kane, but I don't know if that was for the title or not.
Because I know he won it off of Randy Couture.
Yeah, he did. He won it off Randy, and he lost it to Velasquez. Yep.
Yeah.
He held it for 2 years, though. Holy shit.
I'm going to turn off my earphones.
And then his last fight was against Mark Hunt in 2016.
Mark fucking Hunt, man. The fucking New Zealander that can fucking kickbox like none other in the heavyweight division. That man's kicks are fucking deadly.
Yeah, but his overall record was 5-3, won no contest.
Interesting.
He had 55% takedown accuracy, 72% striking accuracy. That's really surprising. At his takedown, I figured it would be the other way around since he was a wrestler.
Wrestler.
A WWE star.
Hey, but he was an NCAA Division I champ, though, in wrestling, though. So
exactly.
He's the cream of the crop when it comes to wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He's the fucking... I mean, dude, he was a fucking giant when he was in college, man. That dude was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. I don't know what he's doing. He's still in WWE, right? I don't watch that shit.
Yeah, he went back to the WWE, and then he went back to the Octagon, and then back to the WWE.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. That's insane.
Yeah, now Cain Velasquez is in there, WWE, I think. No, he got released, but he fought Brock Lesnar.
In the WWE?
Yeah, I saw Ariel Helwani was fucking jizzing over that, dude.
He was jizzing over that?
He was, dude.
He thought that was amazing, huh?
He did. You know he's a WWE. They're big WWE fans. He and DC both.
My goodness, dude. He's a special type of man right there.
He is. But I wanted to bring up John McCarthy real quick. Big John.
Yeah, Big John.
Come to find out, he wrote the rule book on how the judges are supposed to score these fights. And on his most recent podcast about the Holloway fight, one, he thought Holloway won, and two, he said they're not following his rules.
Absolutely not. Of course not. I don't know where they got that decision from. I mean, those judges should never be able to work any fucking UFC fight ever again.
No, and the UFC picks them too, I heard. That's even worse.
I don't think it's a thing of, there's no, like, setup here. There's no, like, what's that called? Conspiracy theory. I just think that these judges are fucking idiots. That's all
they're dumb as shit. No, they're just not
fucking idiots.
They don't understand what they're watching, or they do, and the criteria that they have to judge it on is not fuck, how do I?
Not viable.
Yeah, there you go. That's the word I'm looking
that's
for.
the thing. It's not viable.
Because the fact that two different judges can come up with two different outcomes based off
Yeah.
this game scoring system is fucked.
Yeah, and like I said, it compares to the bad decisions you see in boxing. And the thing about bad judging in boxing is that a lot of these judges aren't watching the fights in a certain criteria that they need to be. And there's certain aspects. I mean, I don't need to go on a whole tangent about like what in boxing is comparable to fucking MMA that gets a bad decision. But either way, these judges are experienced in boxing and they still put out bad decisions. But it's just their type of criteria to judge. These MMA judges, a lot of them don't even have experience. That's the big one.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like that could be it. Because in my opinion, MMA, even though there's so many variables to account for in the judging, it shouldn't be as complex. It's more rudimentary. It's like if you're controlling the ring, if you're taking the guy down, but if you're stuffing his takedowns and getting out of range, then that should be a win for you, or it shouldn't be any points for anyone. You know what I mean? Like it's a back and forth thing. So there's those things where it's more common sense because MMA combat, you can relate to it a little more because, it's not the term grabbing, but you can clinch, you can go for the takedown, go for the double leg, go for the single leg. You know what I mean? Like there's more variables that can be common sense wise. So it's just one of those things that these judges need to get more experience, man. I don't know why the UFC would pick inexperienced judges. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not as inexperienced as we were making them out to be, but that's what it seems like to me.
I agree. But I think the way Kenny Florian put it on his podcast today too, he's like, they're grabbing judges that watch kickboxing matches, boxing, Muay Thai, fucking jiu-jitsu, and they're bringing them all together and making them watch an MMA match, and they're not understanding what they're looking at. They're more focused on what they're used to seeing, whether it be kickboxing or just their specific type of practice, MMA practice.
Exactly. These judges need to start seeing more. I mean, I know that there's not as many matches, but now there's obviously, more cards coming up. I mean, maybe the UFC does do it, but I mean, the most common sense suggestion to fix that is, have these judges watch a couple of fight cards first before, like in the, from the TV or from the site, you know what I mean? Like see it where this fight is on site and then fucking, get that experience from there. Let the better judges handle, these bouts. And then that's how you cycle in MMA judges for the UFC, man. I mean, that's the most common sense thing. And maybe the UFC is doing that. I mean, I could just be fucking, talking about what's already there, but that would be the most logical way to fucking fix that problem.
Or just have the refs that aren't in the ring, the octagon fucking judge. They know what they're looking at more than the actual judges do.
That's true. That's a good point. And if you can have refs as judges, that would fix the whole issue from the get. That would be like, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that. If you can have referees that are experienced referees in the game, whether it's MMA or boxing, those would be the real judges right there. Those are the judges you can trust. And those are the ones that would really fucking appreciate the fight for what it is and score it properly, man. Jeez, why can't they just do that? And maybe they've had some judges that were referees back in the day, but you're not getting enough of that. You know what I mean? You're not.
And a lot of the rest don't want to judge and vice versa. But if you force them to judge the fight, you're going to get a better outcome than you are by hiring random ass judges from all over.
Absolutely. And you know what? UFC should do something like that because if there are referees that don't want to judge, but let's say it's part of the UFC's contingencies for, let's say, their referees, like, hey, you gotta be agreed to like at least judge one fight, during your contract with us, for refereeing. Oh yeah, dude, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna get the honest opinion of what the fight should be if a referee, whether or not he wants to judge it or not. If he judges it, you're going to get the best outcome and the most honest fucking pointing. You know what I mean? The point system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that would be my solution to it, would just have the refs do it.
That's the big solution. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's something that needs to be to be said a lot more with promoters and governing bodies, man. Robbie just called it, so I got to give you credit for that one. That's fucking. Oh yeah, that should be a universal rule. But they're just getting people that passed exams and got licensed and judged an amateur fighter too.
So I think Henry Cejudo. That's what I wanted to bring up. Right, Henry Cejudo and Ryan Garcia again. I guess Cejudo really wants to fight this man. Do you think it'll happen?
Was there recent tweets?
Yeah, Cejudo said he wants to fight him because it'll be bigger than any UFC payday.
Of course it will. It will be bigger than any UFC payday that he can ever get or ever has gotten. With a kid like Ryan Garcia, with his name and his image right now in the game of boxing, oh man. The thing is, though, will his promoter be willing to do that? That's the big question. And they're trying to build, obviously, Ryan Garcia to be the unified lightweight champion. And like I said, you got guys like Gervonta Tank Davis, you got Lomachenko, you got Devin Haney in that weight class that are all champions as well. So that fight might not happen. I mean, did you say it was going to happen or might not happen? When you brought this up?
No, I don't think it'll. I honestly don't think they will make it happen just because Henry Cejudo is such a fucking annoying motherfucker.
Oh, fuck. Man, he does have a big mouth, right? That's definitely what he's been making his money off of lately when he retired.
Big mouth, little body.
Oh, man. I thought...
Little man syndrome, sir.
Yeah, well, I thought that was crazy when I first saw him on, like, the advertisements and started hearing about him, through the UFC videos on YouTube. He put his gold medal onto, like, a chain, like this really thick, almost like Cuban link looking chain that he has.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my good. I mean, I'm like, yeah, it's great to have your Olympic gold medalist. That's fucking amazing. And fuck, do you, man? I just thought it was so flashy. I was
like, this cringy as fuck.
This dude's really got little man syndrome for sure. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah,
but he wants to be in the spotlight, though. I mean, Cejudo's always been a good talker in his career. I mean, that's his. He's got his own little thing, so he's gonna want to be in the spotlight, especially in the game of boxing, because even if you take a fucking a fight like that, it doesn't have to be Floyd Mayweather. It could be Ryan Garcia, and I guarantee you Cejudo would be paid probably like 2, 3, maybe 4 million.
Oh yeah, easy money.
Easy money. I mean, if he survives, that's good for him. If he gets knocked the fuck out badly, either way, it's still an easy payday, but it just shows how much of an idiot he is.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Especially Dylan Dannis. Dylan Dannis, if he wants to listen, if Ryan Garcia keeps talking shit about getting into the cage with Dylan Dannis, then I give it all to Dylan Dannis, because Dylan's just going to take him down and try and submit the kid. He's going to do
he's going to break his fucking arm.
He's going to do what Randy Couture did to James Toney and just out fucking maneuver him on the ground. But if Dylan thinks he has any chance of being in the boxing ring, I mean, whatever. I mean, if Dylan Dannis ever wanted to spar boxing with me, feel free. We can make the call and he can spar me, because I know he wants to spar other guys stand-up wise, and I'd be glad to help him out with that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm trying to say that his stand-up's terrible. His stand-up is terrible, and not only is it rumored, but I can see it. And, he's put sparring clips out, and, it is what it is. All respect to him. He's a great fighter, but he can't hang in there with Ryan Garcia in the boxing ring, period.
I don't see it happening either.
No, and it would be foolish for either Dylan Dannis or Henry Cejudo to try and get into boxing ring with Ryan Garcia. Which fight would I like to see happen if it was in the boxing ring more? Oh, I'd love to see Dylan Dannis be in the boxing ring first. I would personally spar Dylan Dannis to try and help him get ready for that. I promise. I would love to do that.
That'd be sick, dude.
I would love to do that. But I would like to see that more than Cejudo, because like you said, Cejudo's a little annoying.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I'd
mean,
rather see Dannis in there too. I think
yeah,
it'd be more of a
more shit talking.
that, and it'd actually be a better fight in my opinion. I don't think Henry Cejudo's. I mean, I really don't think his stand up is all that great, bro. To be
No,
completely honest.
no, not neither of the two guys are stand up artists, but in regards to like what I followed, because I you brought that up, and I kind of thought that they were done with their little, well, not done, but they nothing new ever arose from their little Twitter beef. And I've been seeing more of like Dylan Dannis's shit with him. That's why I brought him up. But either way, I mean, Ryan would never get into the octagon or the cage, bro. There's no way, because he's not dumb, and second is he's a world class boxer. He's not going to try and ruin his career by getting an injury to his leg or to his arm, or you know what I mean. Like,
Right.
he would never risk getting slammed on his back, because that would totally derail his career. And like we said, there's more money in boxing.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, there's not going to be one boxer. I know that we saw James Toney against Randy Couture, but that was an old, retired James Toney, out of shape, out of weight, overweight, and he was just trying to get in there, and it was entertainment. But there's not one professional boxer, active or retired, that was a world champion or at a world champion level that wants to get in the octagon or the cage.
I
Why
agree.
would they?
Yeah, there's no reason to cross.
There's no reason. But MMA fighters want to get in the boxing ring because
For the
they
money.
know it's the good money. And if you're a tough MMA fighter, if you train properly, you can at least survive in the ring forever. How many rounds? I mean, Connor showed that, but that was, 10. Was it 10 rounds or 11 rounds? It was 11 rounds, right?
I think
It was 11. Yeah, it was 11 rounds, but I mean, that was against an old fucking traveling and relaxing Mayweather.
Yeah, he doesn't fucking care, and he still kicked the shit out of Conor McGregor.
Yeah. So it's never going to happen for any. Even though the one who has the best chance in the MMA realm to ever cross over to the boxing ring, in my opinion, would be Izzy. Izzy's just got that. Yeah, Francis can hang in there with the heavyweights. I can see that. I'll give Francis credit, but I just see Izzy, that he can hang with like elite striking, and Izzy is an elite striker. I mean, he's a kickboxing world champion. So, but yeah, man, they want the moolah. They want that money.
That's what it's all about.
It is. It is.
Sure.
Well, fuck. So let's run by, before we get off, let's run by what the next card is for the UFC Apex, right? It's Wednesday.
No, they're doing it at Fight Island again, bro. They're out there all month.
What? So
and they'll be back there in September.
Ooh. Okay. So who's on that lineup?
We got. We can watch it on. I think it's on ESPN. I don't think this one's on ESPN Plus. Oh, it is on ESPN Plus. I'm sorry.
It's ESPN Plus. I'll be honest.
Main events: Calvin Kattar, Dan Ige.
Okay.
Kattar's out of Boston. Ige's out of Extreme Couture down here.
Yeah, I've heard of Ige.
Yeah, he just beat Barboza, split decision most recently.
Nice. Yeah, he's on the come up.
He is 14-2 on a 6-fight winning streak. Calvin Kattar's 21-4. He just beat Jeremy Stevens on the Vegas 1 card by KO. Wait, no, that was in Jacksonville. I'm sorry.
Jeremy Heathen Stevens.
Yes, sir. The little Heathen
Stevens. He's a veteran, bro. He's been in the fucking MMA game for shit since we were fucking little elementary school kids, man.
Yes, sir.
Jesus.
But Kattar's got the 3-inch height advantage and the 1-inch reach advantage. Kattar's got 4 wins by KO. Ige has 1. Kattar throws 1.5 more significant strikes per minute. And takedowns, Ige has more takedowns than Kattar.
Should be
exciting. So it'll be interesting, bro. It'll be really good.
Exciting one, absolutely.
So that's the main. Co-main is Tim Elliott versus Ryan Benoit. I've heard of Benoit before. Tim Elliott's been around for a while too. Tim Elliott 16-11-1. Ryan Benoit 10-6. They're both coming off losses. Elliott's loss was to Brandon Royval, and Ryan Benoit lost to Alantang. I don't know who that is.
Oh. Okay.
Let's see. Tim Elliott has a 2-inch height advantage, and Benoit has the reach advantage by 2.5 inches. Benoit has 2 wins by KO. throws 1.5 strikes less significantly per minute, and Tim Elliott has 1 win by submission and more takedowns.
There you go. My man just ran through the stats.
But I am going to go with Benoit on that one.
Okay. All right.
The next one I'm most excited for, Cody Stamann versus Jimmy Rivera. This is a late ad. It was supposed to be Jimmy Rivera versus come on, man. It's on the tip. Oh, fucking Marab Dvalishvili. He just fought too. He's Aljamain Sterling's teammate.
Nice.
But Jimmy Rivera didn't want that fight, so Cody Stamann took it. They're usually bantamweights, but they're gonna fight at featherweight, 145.
Okay. Nice.
Cody Stamann's 2 inches taller. He has a 4-inch reach disadvantage, so the advantage goes to Jimmy Rivera at 68.5. Cody Stamann's coming off a big victory from fucking UFC Vegas 1. He was on there too. He just bought Kelleher, but his brother had passed away a couple days before that. Do you remember talking about that?
Oh shit, yeah. I saw those.
So it's that guy. Yep.
I saw those. Yeah, that's crazy. Damn. Well, Stack. I mean, they're building these cards, man. That's gonna be a good one to watch. If it's on ESPN Plus, I'll totally fucking watch it because I'm sick and tired. I got ESPN Plus. I live on the mountain, obviously, so I only have my fucking landline internet, but I don't have cable or fucking satellite. So like, I get so fucking pissed when it's just ESPN fights because I'm like, dude, why am I paying for ESPN Plus when I'm only getting that and I can't get regular ESPN? I'm like, this is bullshit.
I feel you, dude.
Gets me so I fucking rate. But anyway.
So I got Stamann probably by decision on that one. I don't think there's going to be a knockout.
Okay. Cool.
And then the next one is Molly McCann versus Talia Santos. I don't know much about either of these two. But Molly McCann's coming off a win against some chick named Del Bita. Yeah, screw that. I don't know, man. I'll give it to... Oh, Santos has a fucking jiu-jitsu advantage. I'll give it to her.
Listen, what we'll do is, since we did the picks for the first main Fight Island card, we should do another Fight Day pick from you.
Yeah.
And you should do like there's prelims, or is it just like a small card, or is there?
Oh yeah, there's prelims too.
Okay, you want to do the main cards?
Yeah.
You do the card picks. So for the viewers watching, get in on our Instagram and always see us Fight Day, and we'll always do main card picks. MMA, obviously, Robbie's the man. Boxing, you can always get on me for that. So any Fight Day picks, whether it be boxing or MMA, we're gonna have those every Fight Day. So tune into our Instagram and we'll do that. And sometimes we'll do some live little clips pre-fight if we feel like it.
There's one more card. I don't know these people either, but Abdul Razak Alasan versus this dude's coming in on a debut, Minor Laziz.
Nice.
He's 9-1 and Abdul's 10-1. Abdul's on a 3-fight winning streak. He just knocked out Nico Price. Oh, that was his last fight 2 years ago, so he's coming back.
That's a long layoff.
Yeah, they're fighting at 170.
Damn.
So that'll be a good one. I'm going to go Abdul, bro. Knockout first round.
That exotic one right there.
Yes, sir, but that's about all I got. You got anything else you want to run through, brother man?
No, man. There was supposed to be a top rank bout tomorrow night. The main event was with Jamel Herring. He's a world champion, I believe, at 140. He tested positive for COVID, I think, a month ago.
Oh, shit.
And had to pull out of his fight. And then Top Rank postponed his bout that was canceled till tomorrow night. And apparently he tested positive again today. So I think, my opinion on it is, you can't just think that a month is going to fucking be enough to bounce back, because even if you build antibodies or get immunity for it, your body's still going to test positive for it no matter what. It's a process. So right now that I'm only bringing that up because that was a top rank card. So now it's canceled. So we got to look more into it and see, because I think it was going to be on ESPN Plus or just ESPN. But I'm going to see if we can see if they've got a replacement for it. But to any fighter out there training right now, including myself, because I'm working on a multi-fight deal coming up in August to be on one of these platforms, these streaming platforms. But if you're in training camp right now, please, please, please watch yourself, because you can be healthy. You can be healthy as a horse. You can be fucking, active and strong and training and sparring, but you can still have COVID. And sad to say that, you're going to get tested again. If you've been waiting for a fight, whether you've been waiting for a debut or your next fight, and you're on the call, on the line for it, you got to realize they're going to test you again. You're going to do your medicals again. So just all the fighters out there, if you don't want to go through a emotional roller coaster, I suggest you think of any way to fucking keep your training as safe and sanitary as possible, because this Jamel Herring thing is a big deal, man. I mean, this guy is a world champion, obviously, and that's a lot of money on the line that he's losing, that he's not getting paid for. So stay safe out there. That's all I got to say.
Hell yeah.
You feel me?
I feel it. But last thing before we go, bro, how do you feel about Dana White trashing De La Hoya and Bob Arum?
I saw that. I think did I shoot you the article?
I think you did.
I didn't read it yet because I was leaving the gym and I saw it, and I sent that to you on purpose so I knew where to go back to read it. Did you read it yet?
I didn't read it, but I listened to the video. He basically just calls them both fucking retards and talks mad shit about them. It's fucking hilarious.
True, though. It's true. You got to get, like, Dana White. He has the right to talk about De La Hoya and Arum about it, because, to be honest, Arum and De La Hoya can't bring up the fact that Dana doesn't pay his fighters enough, because Arum and De La Hoya are known to be skimpy with their fighters too. They both run like
Garcia just said something about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up. We'll bring that up on another live clip if we want. We can always bring up little topics here and there for all the viewers out there. You don't just have to watch our long episodes but we got clips on Instagram, and then we'll do like occasional lives for like short topics. You know what I mean? If you're down for like 5-minute lives. So we'll bring that up next time. But yeah, dude. All I gotta say is that Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya definitely have, they're not the best promoters themselves, and they've definitely, remember I brought up the tomato can issues, man. Arum's known for that. Arum's known to build up guys and feed them tomato cans and cherry pick for them. So I don't feel any animosity towards Dana White trying to trash on two boxing promoters, because he's absolutely right. They're all shitheads. You feel me?
I feel it, bro.
Period.
All right. On that note, thank you everybody for tuning in. Catch us next time. We're out. Peace.
Peace.